The Panthers' season last year was a mess. Nothing went right, from puck drop to season end. A year to forget. Last year, I have to be honest, I quite liked the team they had assembled. But the players didn't gel from the start, and even when Corey Nielsen returned to the bench, it wasn't his team. He plays a defensive system, and those guys didn't thrive under it. They finished 7th in league standings. They really struggled to find goals at the right time. 149 goals for in the regular season, sits them 7th in the league for goal scoring. But they were just very mid in all aspects of the game. Over the off-season, Pasha admitted that his focus was off the ice, in his first season. Now he turns his attention to the team. And to a new coach. Jonathan Paredes comes in behind the bench. Another new coach for the Panthers. It seems to have been a carousel behind the bench in recent years. Can Paredes stay the course, and steady the ship? Nottingham really needs a coach to stick around for at least 3 seasons. I will link below a video regards my thoughts on Jonathan Paredes. He is an interesting coach, whose focus is playing up tempo, and driving goal scoring. That fits with Pasha's style, but it's a new look for the Panthers. They have traditionally been a systems-oriented team. A defensive-minded team, that scores by committee. Could this be a big shift towards exciting hockey in Nottingham? Before we look ahead to this coming season, let's talk about some notable losses through the off-season. We have to mention the tragedy of the passing of Mike Hammond. He was a staple of British hockey, and was a huge character within the elite league. One of the best playmakers in the league, and I was really hoping to see him back with the Panthers in this new era. They lose all 3 main goalies from last season. Alex DeBow, Peyton Jones, and Jack Barry. Unfortunately, none of them had a particularly good season in the black and gold. None are major losses to the team. They lose a couple good pieces from the blue line. I liked Kelly Summers' style of play. I was hoping they would find a way to get another year with him. JC Broussard also move on. I felt he had more offense in the tank. I don't know if it was the style of the Panthers, but I just don't think they got enough out of him. And of course Mathieu Gagnon moves on. He brought that physical presence, and was maybe the only beacon of hope at times. But I can understand why it was a good time to part ways. The forward group has seen a complete turnover. Captain Matthew Myers moves on for France too. I love Myers, a big fan, but his foot speed was an issue last year. And I honestly believe he would have stayed in the league, if someone was to give him an opportunity. I just think that pace isn't there anymore, and it's tough to play in this league if you cannot keep up. Jeremy Welsh moves. He had a great first season with them, but the second was disappointing. And Adam Brady also moves on. He just couldn't find the goal-scoring edge with the Panthers that he had in Manchester. The last forward I want to talk about is David Levin. For me, he was their best forward last year. He came in and brought an energy to that lineup. He had good foot speed, and great hands, and is a two-way winger. He also threw the body at times, and I am disappointed he didn't come back. I think he would have done well with another year. Now let's take a look at the roster for the upcoming season. As always, it's difficult to piece these lineups together. Things could look very different on opening night. But for now, this is how I see the team shaping up. Rok Stojanovic comes in as the starter, with Mike Robinson as the backup. Good to see Lucas Sheldon back in relief. On the top pairing I have Victor Bjorkung with Carl Neal. Mike Caruso is back for another stint. I have him paired with Jake Ritchek. Josh Tetlow returns to Nottingham on my third pair, with Miles McGurty. In the forward group, I have Otto Nieminen on the left wing, with star signing, Adam Johnson as first-line center, and Mathieu Lemay on right wing. Weston Michaud solidifies the left wing spot on the second line, although I could see him as a top-line player. I have Hugo Roy as the 2C, and Tyler Welsh completing the top 6. Alexander Lunsho, Dietrich Henbrandt, and Ollie Betteridge for the speedy, two-way, third line. And Logan Nielsen, Jordan Kelsel, Stephen Anderson, and Zane McKenzie as the extra complete the roster. Now let's go through this roster in depth. Rok Stojanovic is a really solid number 1 goalie. I like this signing for the Panthers. He is a bigger goalie, standing at 6'6", but his career speaks for itself. In 2021-2022, he played 44 games for the Sheffield Steelers, ending with a really impressive 92 save percentage, and a 2.49 goals against average. And his numbers in the regular season were even better. Last year he played 40 games, in the regular season and playoffs, for Krakow in Poland, where he led them to a regular season title, and the playoff semifinals. Prior to that he had some good years in France and Slovenia. He should be really solid for the Panthers. Mike Robinson signs as the backup. A former San Jose draft pick, he is another big goalie, standing at 6'4". They get him at 26, which is the beginning of a goalie's prime. He has had some mixed results as a pro to date, but he has had a cup of coffee in the American League last year, so people see that potential in his game. He had some solid results in the NCAA as a junior. I think he is primed to have a bit of a breakout season. Could we see him getting 15 to 20 starts here? On the top defensive pairing, I have left shot, Victor Bjorkone. He is a well-rounded player, who is responsible on both ends of the ice, but I would say he was primarily an offensive guy. He has a wicked shot, so I expect him to put a decent amount of goals. Across all competitions I could see him getting to 10 goals for a defenseman. On the power play, with a bit of space, he can really crank a shot. He is Swedish, and came through the Swedish junior system. And we know the Swedes take a lot of pride in playing at both ends of the ice. Bjorkone should be a good fit on the top pairing. Carl Neal is my top right shot defenseman. In the past 2 years, Neal has played in both the DEL and the AHL. Those are two incredibly skilled leagues. He is another former NHL draft pick, by the Vancouver Canucks. He is similar to Bjorkone, in that he is primarily an offensive defenseman. But he is good at both ends of the ice. This should be a pairing you can trust in a lot of situations. He is only 27 years old, which is a great age for a blue liner. I think the biggest part of his game is his hockey IQ. He reads the game very well. I am excited to see what he can do in this league for the Panthers. Mike Caruso, Mark's the only returning defenseman from last year's roster. And I am glad we get to see another year from him. We know what he can bring. He is a defense-first guy, and I thought Caruso was pretty good defensively. He is going to form part of the leadership core there. I think with a new team, and hopefully a more competitive team, he should be solid for them. I don't have any issues with him coming back. And he could be a shout to take the captaincy. Jake Ritchek completes the top 4. This guy is a puck mover. He skates really well, and has good speed. When you watch his playing style, he loves to jump up into the play. But he also has a really good shot. He describes himself similar to Neal and Bjorkone. That kind of two-way defenseman, who takes care of business in his own end, but is mainly an offensive guy. You can see that this blue line is built for Jonathan Paredes. They want to get the puck up the ice quick, and to the forwards. Jake Ritchek is going to help them do that. He has a great outlet pass, and being paired with Caruso, should enable him to jump up into the play. Josh Tetlow marks his return to Nottingham, after a year in the Mestis League. Panthers fans know this guy. He is big, strong, and has a good stick. He isn't going to put up points, but you can utilize him on the penalty kill, and in defensive situations. He is going to clear the net, and even drop the gloves from time to time. If you are going to fill a homegrown slot on the blue line, Tetlow is a solid option. I am keen to see how Finland has improved his game. Miles McGurty completes the defensive core. And it's like I am on repeat. This guy is a two-way defenseman, with offensive upside. You can see throughout his career, his numbers are up and down. That's because teams can use him in different ways. Sometimes he is relied on to be a defensive presence. Sometimes, he is able to flex his offensive capabilities. He can move the puck really well, and is an excellent skater. He has good size, and should be great on a third pair role. Again with Tetlow, it should allow McGurty to jump up into the play at times. Overall, this defensive core was built for Paredes. They haven't gone out and got 1 or 2 offensive guys, and 3 or 4 defensive guys. They wanted to be 6 men deep, who can defend well, play responsible, but ultimately, move the puck. That's their game this year. They want to move the puck quick. And these 6 guys should be able to do that. I just want to note, they only have 6 men. I will forever be perplexed as to why the Panthers let Archie Hazeldine walk. He would grade as the number 7 guy here. I do worry about depth in case of an injury. Now let's look at the forward group. Otto Nieminen is my top left winger. If you can score in the Finnish Liga, then you have talent. In 2018-2019 he scored 12 goals, and 20 points in 36 games with TPS. On top of that he has managed a total of 235 games in the Liga, which is a really hard thing to do. He is an undersized, speedy winger, who has a good shot, and an eye for the net. He should be able to score in this league, and again fits in with their new brand, skates well and carries good speed. Last year in Denmark he was nearly a point per game player. Can he do the same in Nottingham? At center, I have the Panthers' blockbuster signing of the summer, Adam Johnson. He has 13 games experience in the NHL with the Pittsburgh Penguins, scoring 4 points. The first call-ups were only a year after they won the Cup. Think how hard it would have been to crack that lineup. Again, Johnson brings that speed, and will be one of the fastest guys in the league. He has played in some of the best leagues around the world. In a huge 257 games in the American Hockey League, he was around half a point per game, at 137 points. In Germany's top-flight league last season, he put up 22 points, in 45 games. And in the Swedish Hockey League, he has 12 points, in 21 games. He has been just above half a point per game, in the world's best leagues. I don't know how high he climbs, but he should be their best forward. Completing the top line, I have Mathieu Lemay on right wing. He has played the last 3 seasons in the DEL 2. That's Germany's second-tier league, which is of a similar standard to the Elite League. Across 3 seasons, he put up 61 goals, and 143 points, in 136 games. Above a point per game. Prior to that, he played in the Alps Hockey League, posting 85 points, in 44 games. Just for context, Daniel Tedesco played in that league, and put up 68 points in 39 games. So he outproduced Tedesco. That's not to say he will dominate in the same way as Tedesco has in this league. But it certainly illustrates the kind of skill Lemay has. Moving on to the second line, I have Weston Michaud on left wing. He can also play center, and described himself as such, but I like him on left wing to start, and it gives them some nice options in the top 6. He is a hard-working guy, fighting for the puck, he has good skating ability, and is fantastic on his edges. He has bounced around a fair bit the past couple seasons, so it's hard to gauge exactly where he is at. But last season in 25 games in Denmark, he had 19 points. And in a handful of East Coast games these past 2 years, he has 19 points, in 23 games. He is a guy that can produce, and could play anywhere in the top 6 I would expect. Hugo Roy is who I like in that 2C spot. Roy is a two-way center, who carries good speed. He comes in at 25, which is a really good age. He can use speed on the rush, but also when back-checking. He is the kind of guy that could move to a third line, shutdown, depth scoring role. But for now, he has such an intriguing skill set, I want to see what he can in the top 6 to start. He has spent most of his pro career in the East Coast, there he put up 122 points in 209 regular seasons games. That doesn't sound too impressive, but he has progressed, and improved in recent years. His last full season in the East Coast, he put up 44 points in 64 games. Completing the top 6, I have Tyler Welsh on right wing. They are stacked with depth at the right wing position. But a point per game season last year in France, I am sure he is a guy Parade's got to see enough of to want him. He has really progressed season by season in his career, and should be looking to continue his development in a top 6 role. Alexander Lundso is an outright left winger. He has played his whole career in Sweden, and is an undersized skilled winger. He has shown that he has an offensive touch. In 224 games in the Hockeyallsvenskan League, he is about half a point per game. And in the Hockeyettan he is closer to 0.9 pointer per game. He is a playoff performer, and the type of guy you like on the third line, who can pot a big goal, at a crucial time. At center I have Didrikson Henbrandt. This is an intriguing signing to me. I am not too sure what to make of Henbrandt. He has good foot speed, and an interesting skill set. In the NCAA he has 41 points in 104 games. He has good defensive instincts and plays a responsible game. I am really interested to see how the coach deploys him. Ali Betteridge returns to his hometown. This is a great vibes move. The fans love him. Last season saw him try his talents in the Erste Liga. And he got a chance to really flex his offensive skills. He had 10 goals, and 24 points, in 28 games. And I think he is primed to have a big year for Nottingham. He should be a really solid depth scoring option. But they are stacked on right wing. Logan Nielsen joins the squad on the fourth line. He is a guy who is desperate to be a Panther. And that's great to see. He is going to work hard, and continue his development in a sheltered role here. He brings some great size to the forward group, standing at 6'5", and weighing 205 pounds. He is one to watch. Jordan Kelsall remains a staple depth center. He has improved year on year, and really stepped up last season, when things weren't going great. Even moving on to the blue line at times. Having a versatile player like that is a real luxury. He put up 11 points, in 54 regular season games last year, and with some stable line mates, and an offense-first coach, don't be surprised to see him hit 10 goals, and maybe 20 points here. Steven Anderson completes the forward group. He proved last year, that he can play in different situations. Starting as a depth role, but moving up through the year to becoming a key offensive contributor. For me, I like him on the fourth line. It brings great depth, and he can play his game. But if injuries happen, or the team needs a shake-up, he can step into a middle six role. So that's the team ahead of the 2023-2024 season. I like a lot of what they have built, but I still have some questions. That D-core has a lot of two-way guys. Do they have anyone that is elite at either end? The forward group has speed and depth, but can they find the goal-scoring touch that has eluded the Panthers for years now? Jonathan Paredes seems to be what they need, but can he adjust to this league quickly enough? For me, I have them 5th in the league standings. I don't know if they have done enough to get into the top group of 4 favorites. But even if they have, there has been so much change, and so much turnover this season, they may take a little while to get going here. But I want to hear from the fans. What do you like about the team? What do you dislike? Have they done enough to get back into contention? Let us know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, take care.